All right, welcome to our extended disc mini webinar. Today's is a continuation in our series of disc styles overview. Last week we did the D style, and this week we get to do I styles. And so my name is Christina, and I'm the training director at Extended Disc. Welcome. Joining me today is my colleague, Markku Kauppanen, president of Extended Disc North America. Hi, Markku.
Hi, Christina. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good, pretty good.
Good.
I always love to talk about iStyle, so it's a fun topic. As always with our webinars, it's 15 minutes, so we won't have time for live questions. However, we encourage any questions you want to ask, just put them in the Q&A section. If we do have time, we'll get to it today. Otherwise, we'll follow up with the answers after the webinar. There's probably something else I need to mention. Oh, where the webinars will be recorded. Yes, we will be recording the webinars today, and we'll be posting it on our Extended Disc North America YouTube channel. I can get all that in there.
There you go. Good job.
Thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I always like to just revisit, just kind of take that kind of big picture perspective of all four disc styles before we kind of dig into the I style. So two very simple statements here, Markku. One is that no style is better or worse. What do we mean by that?
Well, I mean, the disc model makes no value judgments about what is good or bad, and it's not a test. And that's often we encourage our clients when they ask participants to complete the questionnaire, avoid using the word test because it is not a test. It's a forced choice questionnaire, and there's no right or wrong answers. There are simply your responses. And everything about the model when it comes to the behavioral styles is simply different preferences, different comfort levels. And really the idea is that we develop that confidence, self-awareness, that we understand where are our comfort levels, as well as what are some of those blind spots that we may have, and what are some of the things we need to do in terms of modifying behavior that we know will take some energy. But none of it's good or bad. There's no one best style. There's no one worst style. They're simply different. And like we have on the slide there, all of us have all of these styles in us. Simply one of them or two of them tend to be very, very comfortable to us. And then maybe one or two are the ones that require most energy. In my case, we're talking about I style. I style is the most least comfortable of the four behavioral styles for me. So if I need to be in a situation where I styles are needed, that's when I really have to be focused, concentrate, and I know it's going to require some energy, but it doesn't mean it's good or bad.
Exactly. And it's not about our ability, whereas your style, I style, is your least comfortable style. You have it in you. I would say that based on my results, and I agree with it, D style is my least comfortable style. But I always jokingly say that sometimes my family members would tell you different. They would find it very hard to believe that D style is my least comfortable style.
Well, it's always most easiest to modify behavior when we are around people we know well. It is when we get in situations when we don't know the other people, they're strangers or they're colleagues at work, and we might be a little bit apprehensive or timid or even shy. That's when it becomes most challenging. So, but I hear that a lot about mothers, that the D style often, thankfully, it comes up because sometimes somebody has to take charge and make sure things get done at home as well.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and focus in on I style. And as you can see on the slide here, I style is on the active half of the model, along with the D styles. And, the way I would describe active, the easiest way is that they tend to be, the energy tends to be seen more so on the surface. They tend to be much more comfortable in a faster paced environment. Anything you would add to that, Markku?
Well, you're absolutely correct. They like fast pace. They like a lot of variety, and they like the attention that they get from other people. They really feed off of that energy of positive energy, I should say, from other people. They want it to be fun. They want it to be fast paced, and they want a lot of variety. More contacts, the better. More exciting things to talk about, the better. More fun there is to be had, the better. And they, what I like about the I styles, because I'm a low I, is that they do have that contagious energy, and above all, that spontaneous kind of enthusiasm about everything. They get so excited about things, and it's contagious, and other people are attracted to that energy, and often is needed in different types of work projects, in the work and environment in general. And in fact, this kind of remote working that a lot of us are involved with right now, we are missing that I energy for a lot of people, and the I styles are missing to be able to provide that energy to others.
Exactly. And that, that what Marco's talking about, that, the energy, the positiveness of those I styles, that also comes from their people oriented part of their style as well. So
Right.
let's just kind of give you, let's give the people out there a little bit of an overview of I styles. If you look at what they focus on, they like, as Marco mentioned, they love interactions. They want to be involved with people and emotions. But under pressure, they tend to focus so much on those interactions and emotions that they can often overlook the tasks and details. And sometimes we would describe that as being disorganized, right, Marco?
That is very true. And like all of us, no matter what our style is, under pressure, we tend to revert to our own style. And in the case of I style, when they revert to their own style, they really begin to use it so much that they become more talkative, more emotional, more energetic, and they're really trying to make sure everybody's happy. And sometimes, because you have all of that energy going out there and trying to make sure everybody's involved, that they're unable to really pay attention to all of the tasks and details. And in fact, details and task orientation and having to work alone is really something that takes a lots of energy from I styles. But all of us, no matter what your style is, we do have to be in those situations. So if you are an I style, just know that there are parts of your job and your day when you have to be working on detailed tasks, often alone. Just know going in that that's going to take a lot of energy. The good news is that it's not going to last forever. A lot of the I styles I talk about, they said, hey, I know I have those part of my jobs. What I want to do is that after I get to the office and clear my emails, etc., I want to take care of those tasks first, so I know that the rest of the day I can really focus on tasks that I really enjoy the most and really provide me a lot of energy.
Exactly. So let's kind of reinforce that introduction to I styles now. Let's take a look at how do we identify I styles. I'm sure as Marco and I were talking, you started to kind of get that visual picture, and you started to identify people in your world that you're like, I'm sensing this person is an I style. So your I styles tend to be very social. They not only enjoy attention, they actually crave it. They seek it. They're very positive and optimistic. As Marco said, when they're in the office, they kind of give off that fun, energetic vibe that, makes the office more fun. They're more emotional. Their decision-making tends to be much more impulsive. It's much more emotion-based, right? They kind of base themselves on that sixth sense. You heard Marco said they tend to talk more than they listen. They jump subject to subject. They are the one style, they're one of the styles that tend to get frustrated by what we call structure and routine. They like lots of things going on, change is not uncomfortable for them. And I jokingly say your I styles are your huggers of the group. They're not quite as aware of personal space. They're the ones that are going to come up and they're going to give you a hug, or they're going to stand really close to you. And for some of us that aren't quite the I style, that is not as comfortable for us. Anything you would add, Marco, in terms of what do you think about when you're identifying I styles?
Well, I mean, what you said right there is very true. So the social distancing is really going to require I styles to get out of their comfort zone, because they do want to be close to people, and it is all about people. And since we're talking about identifying I styles, at least from my perspective, they are one of the they're one of the styles the easiest to identify, because they are so just kind of splashy and smiling, and they are happy, and when they walk in the room, the room kind of lights up, so often when the I style walks into the room. And like I mentioned earlier, I love their positive energy and attitude. for them, the class is never half full. It's overflowing. Things will be they will be okay. They're very optimistic. And that type of emotional, energetic feelings that they are able to project to others often gets others feel the same way. So they do bring a lot of energy to groups and teams, parties for sure.
Yeah, I always joking to say, if you want to go get some great feedback, you typically go to your iStyle colleague to do that, because they're going to tell you oftentimes it was wonderful, and they mean it, right? So it always feels good to hear that from them.
Yeah, and then we talked about a little bit about how fast-paced they are, and they lack a lot of variety. If you're an iStyle, and you may relate to this, and then if you work with iStyles, you probably have observed this, they really want to have a lot of things going on, and they want to work on new exciting projects. And one of the things they may lack sometimes is the long-term follow-through. So their outlook is more of a short term. They want quick results. It's just like a D style. Their perspective is they want the things to happen fairly quickly. S and C styles, we'll talk about them in the next 2 weeks. They are more long-term individuals. So I style, they sometimes need to make sure that they get out of their comfort zone to really focus on the follow-up tasks that are required to make sure that they get those long-term successes that are often needed.
Exactly. So, obviously our extended disc tool is, when we think of it, we think of it as a communication tool, although we'll always tell you there's, the breadth of the tool is so much greater. It talks about all types of interactions. But today we're going to focus in on how iStyles prefer to communicate. And as we mentioned earlier, they're very energetic. The energy is on the surface. So when they talk, their voice tends to have a lot of intonation. They're animated, and they're very talkative. But sometimes, as Markku mentioned, that endpoint is not always a straight line. They can, we jokingly say when someone says, with your dog, you say squirrel, all of a sudden they're looking off onto a different tangent. So they're not always quite direct. Have you ever gone up to an iStyle and just, they're so energetic and they're telling you all about these wonderful things. They have these great ideas and you're like, nope, that's not how it's going to work. And it's almost like you watch the energy just kind of drain out of them because they don't like to, they want to focus on the positive, right?
Yeah, they want that excitement to be reflected by other people as well. They have the excitement. They hope that everybody else shares that excitement. And if some other individuals, different styles, usually, when they react a little bit differently, yes, that can be sometimes very deflating for the iStyle. They sometimes don't quite understand why the reaction is that way. Now, in all fairness, we have the same type of reactions, but they play out differently for all of those styles. If you're D, S, and C, and if you have an idea and you present it and communicate it the way you prefer to communicate, you expect a certain kind of reaction that you assume everybody else who should be like you would also provide. And if you don't get them, they will have the internal reaction will always be similar. How we see it outwardly is different. With iStyles, you can really see that their energy level kind of goes down and they're much easier to read sometimes because they are so expressive and they are so open with how they're feeling and their emotion. And their focus is, like we said, on positive and optimistic outcomes. And when they feel that others don't share that, they may feel pretty deflated, as I just said a moment ago.
Yeah, I think one of the things for me, iStyle is, I always say, think of iStyles or any of the styles as having their own language. That if you were just to make some adjustments to maybe the tone of your voice or the words that you use, I jokingly say there are some more, more reserved style. They're much more economical in their choice of words. They'll say things like, that was good, or that was fine. But in the iStyle language, I say, things are fabulous and amazing. And that was
terrific.
The best workshop I've ever been to, right? But if we were just if we really wanted to communicate well with that iStyle, and we just thought about how does the iStyle prefer to receive their communication by making these kind of very brief and simple adjustments, you maintain that energy, you keep them going.
Yeah, with iStyles, you just want to make sure you keep it positive, allow for at least short period of time of interaction, of focusing on fun things, chat a little bit, smile, and then you can get to business. And when you do that with iStyles, the communication is always more productive.
Well, just like iStyles, we could talk forever, but we have reached the end of our time limit. We do have quite a few webinars next week I'm excited about. We have our special summer series, a sales capacity assessment suite. We're focusing on a very popular report in that suite called the hiring report. That's on Tuesday. We also have our HRCI SHRM recertification webinar. It's approved for one recertification unit, and we'll be focusing on kind of what we were talking about. How do we adjust our style to improve interactions? That's at 10 on Wednesday. And we finally also have one more continuation of this one, and we'll be in that one focusing in on S styles.
That's right. So busy week next week, a lot of webinars. Go to extendeddis.org and go to the top right-hand corner, click on events, and there you can register for all of those upcoming webinars. And like I always say, make sure you sign up, even if you can't make the date or time, because we will send you the recording so you can share it and listen to it. But please make sure you register, otherwise we can't send it to you.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us today and have a great day.
Thanks, Christina. Thanks, everybody.